Hello everyone, Nordic Beast here, and welcome back to the Shipyard. So I'm sorry I haven't been posting the last few weeks. I finally got the cast off my arm, and I'm healing up very well. I'm now back to work. I've been to work for over a week now, actually. And in fact, last week I got overtime. They needed me so badly. I was very much welcomed back. I was very pleased with everyone's reaction to me returning to work. I've also been, a lot of family functions for the holidays and all that. Now that's all over, I can get back to making YouTube videos. So before I get started on this video, I'd like to talk about something ever so briefly. I'm part of a gaming community called the Nidd, as a lot of you guys know. Anytime you see me recording with like Boris and Nubis and all of them, or Sal, Drunk Spider-Man sometimes you see me recording with, and pretty much just about everybody who's on my on my channel with me, I have recorded with through the Nidd. So I was an admin on the Nidd, but because of a lot of miscommunications and things like that, I don't wish to be an admin anymore. It basically comes down to I was an admin, but I was never used as an admin, so I don't feel there a need for me to have admin power. So I'm still part of the gaming community. I still love everybody here. I have no ill will towards anybody. I will still record with people. I will still be part of events and things like that. I just don't wish to have any responsibility, especially if I'm not going to be using it. So that's pretty much what it comes down to. Now, the only part I found disappointing about the whole situation, which kind of comes to the lack of communication, which I will probably fix after I'm done with this video, is I found out I am no longer on the Nidd Whitelist server. It has been down for like a week or so, maybe even pushing 2 weeks now. And I've been playing on another server in the meantime, like somebody else's server I just happened to come across. Pardon me. And which I'll probably end up showing my progress in there at some point. So then today I looked to go see if the Nidd server was finally up, and it was. I went to go join. It says you no longer have permission to be on this server, which is kind of a bummer. And then I looked at the list of who's who in the Nidd server, or in the Nidd community, and I'm no longer on the Nidd tuber list, which, from my understanding, the requirements are to be part of the Nidd, which I am, and being a YouTuber, which I am. So I'm not quite sure what's going on there, so I'll contact somebody to straighten that out at some point. But anyway, in the meantime, everything you see here is something that either I designed or helped influence designing. The only thing that wasn't is this guy right here. And this is made by Lord Wiseman, and it's a chicken. So I find this absolutely hilarious. Like, it was him, DHR Mike, I think Lacarthian, Dracul, and I want to say Malkins, all had a small large ship battle. So as you see, it's a large ship, but it's a smaller large ship. And this is designed off of the one they used. So this is Wiseman's redesign of the ship. And I originally had like a merge block back here to drop a bunch of merge blocks that had decoys on them, which is of DHR Mike's design. And so when Wiseman redesigned this, he made a chicken. And I remember I was going to go watch the original Star Wars with my family because my daughter hadn't seen it since she was 5 and didn't remember it. And I'm like, all right, I gotta get going. And Wiseman's like, wait, Nordic, wait, I gotta show you this. And he shows me this, and I'm like, that is incredible. Absolutely incredible. So yeah, that's his chicken. I believe he named this the HMS chicken? Something like that? Actually, let's check. Let's see, HMS. Let's just go with H. Yeah, HMS chicken. Okay. So anyway, next up are these two right here, these diamond-shaped ones. These are actually influenced by Wiseman. He designed a fighter called the Bubble Fighter, and it was like, it had like a wrapping around the cockpit, kind of like this. And I thought it was interesting, so I decided to kind of make a more angled version, I guess. And these are called the Broadhead. This is the Broadhead Fighter and the Broadhead Miner. So the only thing I'm going to change about this is on the fighter version with the camera there, the muzzle flash is enormous. Now, I don't find it all too bad, but other pilots would. So Dracul saw this, and I told him, like, on the mining version, as you see, instead of a camera on front, there's a camera right here. which works out well. But with the guns there, that would block a bit of the view, and Dracul actually suggests I remove the camera, remove the block behind it, and put the camera there. So that might work. I'll probably have to give it a try. But overall, this thing actually handles quite well. I do have ×5 dampeners in here, so I do decelerate faster than I should. But I really enjoy this thing. And you can technically fly this in first person. It's like flying like an SR-71, which has like a bar like this in front, so you can't technically see directly forward. And an SR-71, you kind of have to tilt your head left or right. Oop, nope, stop. I don't need you crashing. So, yeah, and then like I said, I decided to build a mining version, because originally I just built the frame. I didn't design it as a fighter or a miner, just the frame. And then I designed the fighter first. I'm like, well, I could make a miner out of it. The reason I made the miner version, though, is because of this. Now, a while back, for DHR Mike, I built what was called a prospector, kind of a small starting ship. And this isn't necessarily a small starting ship, more, say you have a large ship and you need something to be able to either A, fly around in, or B, be able to drill if need be, or carry cargo, or what have you. So this thing can do just a little bit of everything. It can fly at full power for about 4 hours, because it has 3 batteries and all small thrusters. It has the 2 medium cargo containers and a collector on the front, which sort of works. And it maybe gets about 1/4 of the loose ore floating around, and you can collect with it, like try to fly up and grab it. It can be a little disorienting, but I mean, it works well. It has an oxygen generator and an oxygen tank, so you can fly around for quite some time on this. The only thing I wanted to add to it that I ended up not doing was solar panels, but it would make it quite big and bulky if I put solar panels on this, since there's no way to like retract solar panels without using like rotors and things like that, you know, things that go boom. So yeah, this is the Prospector, the XC-101 Prospector. Alright, so next up on my small list, or my small ship list, is the Swordfish. So this ship is highly influenced by a fighter from what is that game called? The Star Citizen. I can't want to say Sybil something or another. So yeah, Star Citizen. It is based on the P-52 Merlin, which in it itself is actually a tribute to the P-51 Mustang, which the Mustang had a Merlin engine. It was actually a Packard engine, but it was based off the British Merlin. So, someone had actually made a fighter based on, or you know, trying to make the Merlin, and I used that as an influence, to be honest. And it had a similar nose arrangement to this, but also different. So I just kind of rolled with it, and as you see, it's battery powered. It only flies for about 25 minutes or so on full power, which is not bad. It does have an I believe it has you have an oxygen tank, right? Let's see. Oxygen. Yep. Yeah, okay, it's got an oxygen tank. So, you can actually fly for quite a while in this. As you see, you got the camera up front, we got 1 rocket launcher and the 4 cannons. Yeah. Let's see here. And it actually handles pretty well. The only thing I don't like is the asymmetrical thruster alignment. It does kind of bother me. I don't know. It's minor though, and even without the ×5 dampeners, this thing actually does handle quite well, all things considered. It has 4 thrusters in all directions, 2 large for forward and 6 reverse. Originally I had 8 reverse, but it didn't really need 8 reverse, and I mean, this is about 15,000 kilograms, so this thing actually has more thrust directionally than these 2 down here, and only weighs about 3,000 kilograms more. Yeah. Which actually, I've got 2 rear ones here too. So the 2 small ones underneath. So it actually has a little bit more forward thrust. Yeah. All right. I think I'll start down in this end now this is the Enclave. Now the Enclave is actually based off of the Enforcer from the game Fractured Space, which I will have to post some more of soon. I do have some recorded Fractured Space. I'll have to take a look and see if any of it's usable. If not, I'll be recording some more soon for Team Tryhard. I had an absolute blast that last episode. Like, I still laugh every time I see the picture of me with the MLG Pro glasses on. So I was literally going with this shape. This shape was important to me. Like the two front pods with like the two rear pods and a middle section. So the front end has all the oxygen and the gyros, as well as some of the reactors. There are some external reactors. Now, the reason I'm not too concerned about the reactors being on the outside is because it's all light armor, and it's all one layer of light armor. So this thing's tissue paper anyway. But as you see, it has the 4 Gatling turrets all in the front with really good arcs, and I kind of like how that turned out. I wish I could have pushed them in more, but I'm actually very pleased with how it turned out considering how Space Engineers is. So the doorway is right back here. Now there is a connector underneath. See there? So let's go ahead and take a quick look because there's not much to the Enclave. This is the crew area. There's another seat there. And it does have a jump drive, even though it runs off of all small reactors. We have the bridge. See, you got a oxygen or an air vent there. Now, if we drop down here, this is the engineering area. We have another vent. We have more reactors under our feet here. We also have the timer and programmable block, and plenty of little signs and whatnot to be able to give various stats I haven't set up yet. And then finally, over here is the cryopods, as well as the medbay. Now, the medbay is not hooked up to oxygen, but the cryopods are, obviously. So, oh, and then up above is where all the cargo storage is. So, if you look over on this side over here, same thing up top. Yep, and that's it. That is the entire Enclave. So, my idea behind this is it would make an excellent fast patrol ship. Now, even with as many, like I think it has a dozen small reactors, it can accelerate just fine, it can decelerate just fine, but if it's accelerating while maneuvering, it does go into the red. So I may touch it up on where they're, I'm adding more reactors to it at some point. But for now, I'm pretty pleased with how it turned out. I really like the overall look and design of this. So, alright, next up is something that does not have a name. I'm going to turn the light back on. To me, this looks like a mix between a Halo ship and Battlestar Galactica. I literally started with this end all back here. And as you see, I got a open bay here, so we get a nice docking bay back here. The inside is not complete at all. It's pretty much just a frame, but I'm not quite sure what I want to do with it. I've fully conveyed oxygen farms here, as well as solar panels. Lots of lights, and lots of guns, and missiles, and rockets, and you name it. I do actually have like a little observation area down here. Maybe that might be a bridge and then put like a command and control in the middle somewhere. So this is also all light armor. I didn't know what I was doing. Like, I didn't know if I was going to build like a warship or what. I just decided to kind of build architecturally. And this is what I came up with. And really armed it up. So this is kind of like a battle cruiser. It does have several layers of light armor, depending on where you're at. And probably could take a decent beating while still being able to repair itself. Or being easy to repair, I mean. Sorry, I had the thought of putting a projector block in it to allow it to make easy repair, so I said repair itself. Yeah. So, yeah, there's not much in here yet. There is tons of cargo containers, and there is also oxygen generators. Back there are jump drives, so take a quick look. There's also lights. It has 8 lights. It's so big, I wanted to make sure I could light it up. So, yeah, I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this thing, but I like it. To me, it looks like a natural evolution of the Glorious and the Irrepressible and all that. Oh, which, by the way, at the end of the video, I have some news on the Glorious Adventures, too. Woo! Alright, so lastly are these 3 here. So I actually built this one. Dracul built these two, which they're not done yet because I kept Dracul up way too late last night. So a long time ago, well, I mean a year ago, but in Space Engineers terms, that's a very long time ago. When Dracul and I were still recording our survival series, exploration was, well, scratch that. Exploration had not come out yet, but we were going to have different rooms that we were going to load up with a ship similar to this, and it was called the Black Wolf. The Black Wolf was all modded. It used the Uncle Stee, like, armored ramps and things like that, and it was this amazing ship. I absolutely loved it. So last night, I'm leaving work, and I go to Steam on my phone, and I see Dracul still on, and I message him, I'm like, Dracul, you want to build a vanilla version of the Black Wolf? And he's like, if I'm awake? Yes. And of course I get home and he is awake. We get in here and I had already started building the framework, like literally like these leading wing edges and the nose area. And I think I'd just gotten to the back area, and he copies it, starts working on it. So as you notice, like that nose and like this nose here and over here, it's all the same nose. And then he just deleted everything around it and started reworking it. And he's like, you know me. He's like, I don't mean to insult, but I'm going to build my own. And looking at this, which, by the way, these two are the same thing, just except for the thruster arrangement for reverse thrust. He's got small thrusters here and then large thrusters in these big red pods. I like this one better than that. I think it looks interesting how he was able to angle these coming out. I think it looks very, very cool. Which, by the way, if you're wondering why they're glowing red, the original design used Uncle Stee's neon lights. Well, we don't have neon lights. I was trying to do vanilla, so it is actually two spotlights facing each other at minimum distance, high intensity, so the nose glows red. I wanted that feature. I liked that feature. Now, originally it actually had rail guns, so instead I went with rocket turrets. Yeah. So, like I said, his aren't done yet because he ended up staying up way too freaking late. His has a lot of room in here. A lot of room. I'm quite impressed and kind of left in awe, but this defines to me the difference between us. Similar goals, and how we end up building things. Like, again, you can tell our building styles are very, very, very similar, but he builds, you know, bigger and bulkier, and has his own distinct style of things he likes to do, while I do as well. So I got this as close as I could to the original Black Wolf, which, by the way, this is the Dire Wolf, since it is not the same ship. I got this as close as I could while still making like some changes. Now, originally it had Sage thrusters, the industrial thrusters, one on either side. Couldn't do that, so of course I went with a staggered, large vanilla thruster here. So the original did have a tail turret, one turret on bottom and one turret on top, and that's essentially what it has, with the 4 rockets right in front, which are devastating. And then I added 4 smaller interior turrets on the outside for protection against incoming missiles, or rockets, whatever, and personnel is what that's designed for. So we have several cameras. We have one in the back, one in the nose in between all the rockets, and then a docking one right here for the connector. The entrance is up here. Now, this had been designed as a raiding slash just like survival exploration ship, which is funny. Exploration ended up coming out soon after, but there was all kinds of problems with exploration after we had designed the ship, and then we kind of just stopped survival. So this is akin to the original entrance. Is very, very similar. Now, we had a lot of azimuth thrusters and such, and at the azimuth industrial pack there was no jump drive, so we sorry that the gravity's all weird. You know what, I'm going to move this ship forward and make it a little easier. Get out of the other gravity wells. There we go. And last night I redesigned this to add the extra thrusters you see on top pointing forward, and on bottom you see pointing forward. Originally I had 2 in the wings, so it actually had 6 reverse thrusters. Now it has 8, which is better. Alright, so over here was where we came in. So came down here. We have a reactor back there. We have all our gyros down below. And the med bay is down here. So the catwalks up here kind of give the illusion of a much larger open room here, to give you just like a feeling of a big ship, even though it's not. I think it's deceptively bigger than it really is. So these side rooms are like, there's one on either side. They're identical. Everything's mirrored here except for the entrance and the med bay. So those are supposed to be rooms, because originally on the Black Wolf we had, I had one room, Dracul had the other. So all my cargo is all up above, as well as oxygen. There's an oxygen generator up there and 3 tanks. And then of course we have the bridge, so with the vent here. And this is HAL. Dracul really wanted a HAL in my design, so we were able to put one in here. And that's about it, to be honest. Like, there's not much else going on in this ship. But that's kind of the beauty behind it. It's supposed to be a relatively simple raiding or patrol ship, depending on how you look at it. I also have these the panels worked into either side of the jump drive. I quite like that. So, yes, this is the Direwolf. I'm very pleased with this. I will have to use this at some point in the near future. Oh, also, I have those 2 interior turrets. I haven't put in the script yet, but there's the tier script, which if the ship detects anyone grinding the ship, it'll shut off, or close all doors, shut off power to the doors, and then turn on all turrets. Alright, sorry about the jump cut. I'm having issues with my mic. Go figure. I can't just have equipment that works, can I? So it was making this buzzing sound. I think the actual microphone in the mic arm like shifted and was making a buzzing sound. You could actually hear a little bit of it at the end there. By the end, I recorded the video all the way to the end, and it was still making like the buzzing sound, but really loud. So I figure I'll just summarize here and just finish it off. So, like I said, these are Dracul's designs, which there are no names for him yet. And I definitely see the appeal to this one and why he likes it so much. It's very sharp looking. But I still like this one, and I fear he's kept this one around just because I like it. And I don't know. I think the large reverse thrusters is the better option than the small ones. But it's really up to him, you know. I definitely like it, though. I think it's a cool design. I can't wait for him to finish it. I hope he puts like a... like a cargo, or not a cargo, but like a hangar bay down here, and maybe plenty of cargo. Like, he's talking about wanting to make this into like a large warship, maybe put heavy armor and whatnot. I think it's very cool, very, very cool. It's gonna have so much room inside. I like this design. So with the Glorious Adventure series that I was mentioning earlier, 2 days ago I was actually ready to record the first episode. I had everybody. The issue was Lord Wiseman's computer keeps crashing whenever using DirectX 11. I don't want to record without him. I do have ways that I can write him in and out of the series for various reasons, but for the first episode I need him, and I don't want to have to record without him, and actually I won't record without him. So if anyone knows anything about DirectX 11 and why it would cause Space Engineers to crash, please contact me and let me know so I can let Wiseman know. Again, I'd really enjoy to actually have him for the first episode, and again, we can kind of go from there. So that's pretty much it. So if you guys enjoyed the episode, please hit the like button, and I'll see you guys next time.